Yeah. It's Poppy, baby.
Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? It's Positive Poppy, baby. And this podcast is powered by the one and only Solid Coffee Roasters based in
Right.
Bellflower and Artesia. Baby. I'm out here sipping this cold brew right now. Got my good friend and brother, William Rouse, on with us. How you doing, Will?
Good, man. Trying to stay sane in this quarantine life, man.
I feel it for real, though. That's big facts, bro. For all you guys that don't know Will, he's a director, DP, screenwriter, producer. He's basically the man behind the camera, some of your favorite documentaries, commercials, music videos, and he's just getting started.
Trying, man. We getting there. Baby steps.
I feel it, bro. I feel it. Well, let's just, warm up a little bit. Tell me, what's your favorite color?
Uh, I go in between blue and teal. Anywhere on that spectrum, I kind of stick to.
Okay, okay. Why? Why?
Um, I don't know.
Are
I've
you an
always
Aquarius?
gravitated. I am Aquarius. Is that like associated with Aquarius? I don't know.
Well, aren't Aquarius water signs? Water creature?
I guess so, bro, because my favorite place to be is near the ocean or any kind of water. So, I mean, I
Oh,
guess that
old
makes
dolphin
sense.
boy.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Word, word. Learn something every day.
Right? Isn't that beautiful?
It's beautiful, man. Life is
So what?
beautiful.
So blue and teal just to speak to you out of all the colors.
Yeah, I mean, just anywhere in those spectrums, like, I just, for me, I don't know. There's just something about it that just, it represents something that I'm still trying to figure out. I'm not even gonna try to sound all deep and philosophical because I'm still learning, but
I love
there's
it.
something in it that like I don't know, it just makes me feel good. So
I
yeah.
love that. I love that. Can you tell me one word to describe yourself and why?
Uh one word to describe myself. I'd probably say goofy. Straight up.
Because I
Goofy is
know
a good
you,
one.
that's for sure a great word for you.
Yeah, bro. I was gonna try to get on film school on you and use like this big title like eclectic or nah, it's not
Right,
me, bro.
right.
I'm straight goofy, so
I love it. I love it. What's
yeah.
your go-to like takeout spot in your neighborhood right now?
Convenience, the spot next door to me called Senor G's.
Oof,
I'm in
oof,
Playa. They got some fire Mexican food, but I think the reason why
beautiful.
I go to it is because like I smell like the carne asada like every day. So it's like, yo, like I need to run that real quick. But yeah,
I love it. I love it. That's dope.
see
That's
my
dope.
dog in the
So,
back.
what's up?
So
What's up, puppy? Yo, so how'd you get into film? Like tell me what that looked like. Have you always been shooting film?
bro, so this is a detailed story, but my
I'm
dad
ready.
was
I'm
always a
here for it.
photographer. Yeah, my dad is a photographer. He used to have a bunch of cameras around the house, and he was doing his little wedding thing back in the day, his little weekend hustle.
Nice,
And
nice.
when I moved to Colorado to live with him, I took this photography class. He was like, "Yeah, you should do this." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Man, I'm a hooper. I don't need to take pictures. I'm too cool for that." And we went on this trip, and I kind of fell in love. So he bought me my first camera, and I've been kind of taking photos ever since. But what really got me on the film tip was uh, I graduated from Arizona State. I mean, I didn't graduate. That is the story I'm writing where I graduated, but I didn't graduate. I left after first semester because I couldn't afford it,
Mm.
and I was working, and my brother was like, "Yo, I rap," and I was like, "Bro, I rap too." So we had our made our own little record label, and yeah, one thing led to another. We needed music videos. And my camera at the time recorded video, so I did that. And then my
Mm.
friends, who are actually the Wayans brothers' nephews, started doing sketch comedy. Started filming
Nice.
that, and then we decided to go to film school from there, and the rest is history.
Dang. That's
Yeah,
wild, bro. I love how it's always the unexpected that happens and that forces you to become who you are. Like
yeah,
the fact that you never thought about, like, oh, like film, what? Fuck that,
bro.
you know?
You couldn't tell me I wasn't gonna be at Coachella performing after Wiggins, like, bro. Couldn't
I'm
tell me I
dead.
wasn't gonna be top 5 rappers at the time, bro. So
You know
yeah,
what? The funny, you still can be. You still can be.
you know, you know, rappers are getting older these days. Jay-Z's still 40 something doing it. There's just I have a
Right.
chance. So we'll see.
For
We'll see if
sure.
that gets me there.
Hey, you might come out of this quarantine a rapper. You might come out of this quarantine with a record deal.
Word, bro. Drop some
What?
quarantine bars on them.
Yo, you have to. You have to. Who's been, like, I guess, inspirational for you with film?
Um, it depends, bro. Just because, like, I don't know. I haven't really found exactly what I wanted necessarily do completely in film. So,
Mm,
as cinematographer, that's my main thing right now, is cinematography. I say I really admire like people that are on that next level, like Bradford Young, Roger Deakins, of course, people like that, man. Just like people that
hmm
continue to innovate the space that we've been given. There's another guy named Chase Irvin, works a lot
mm.
with Khalil Joseph and did a lot of Beyonce's Lemonade.
Yes.
People
Yes.
people like that, man. Like, I kind of try to stay off Instagram just because I feel like a lot of people like are doing the same thing, or like, they'll
Mm,
take one thing and do the exact same thing. But I feel like if you can tell a consistent story within 2 hours and make each frame look beautiful, you're a master. So those are
dang,
kind
that's
of
real.
people that I try to look after. As far as writing, bro, I just watched Black AF. Shout out to Kenya Barris. Like,
Shout out to Kenya Barris
that
for
was
real.
amazing. That Damon Wayans, who I had the pleasure to work under for a while, is actually the person I look up to most for writing and comedy. I just think
Mm,
he's a master, man. Like, My Wife and Kids is, one of my favorite shows. And
yeah.
I kind of really just enjoyed, you know, content that's based around black family. For some reason, I
Mm,
just gravitate to it. But yeah, so those are my biggest inspirations as far as when it comes to film. Um, Outside of film, bro, I study Kobe like every day, like
mm.
his work ethic, all that
Rest in
kind of
peace.
stuff. Yeah, bro, like the way he attacked the game, you know, like literally detail oriented. Kind of try to look up to that as much as I can. So.
I feel that. Yeah, for
Mhm.
me, looking from the work we've done, you are very detail oriented, and it me coming from no training or whatever, I'm like, bro, why can't we just fucking shoot it? Just shoot it. And you're like, listen, it's got to be perfect. And then every
Yeah.
time that we follow your rules, it always comes out fire. So let's
Yeah.
talk about your process a little bit. Let's talk about that.
First, man, I wish it came out perfect, man. There's always things as creators, I know you go through it too, that we wish we could like change, or you know,
So
do
real.
better the next time. But um, I just really try to like pay attention to everything nowadays. So, like, when I first started, it was like that. Yo, we got a funny idea or a funny sketch. Let's just go shoot it, and it'd be improv. And at the time, we thought it was the funniest thing ever. But as you get older and as you really understand the craft and the greats that do it, you understand that there's a long process that goes before it. So,
Mm,
I mean, I really just try to make sure I know every detail of the video or whatever I'm doing beforehand, and we plan it shot for shot, frame for frame, because end of the day, those are the things that to me mean the most. Because if you each time you point the camera somewhere, if it doesn't mean something, overall the project's gonna diminish less and less. I
mm,
kind of try to take that philosophy, and I could be wrong,
mm.
but that's just the way that I like to
Yeah,
approach things. It's like, yo, if I'm pointing my camera in one direction, it has to mean something. the actor moves from left to
Just being
right, it
intentional,
has to mean something. Exactly, bro. That's the word. So yeah, man,
100%.
just trying to be intentional. And I feel like when you respect the process and you do your due diligence in pre-production, everything comes out intentional. So yeah,
So real. Now, does your process, uh, one second,
no, you're good.
my
I
bad.
think the video cut off too for a second, so you might have like a black spot in the video. But
LOL. That shit's good. Everybody listening, we are trying out this new remote podcast recording, so bear with us through this episode of if
yeah,
there's any glitches.
yeah, positive poppy podcast, social quarantine, a social distancing edition.
Right, right. But dang, I was gonna ask you, so does your process differentiate per project? For example, like you do documentaries, but then you also do music videos. Those are two different worlds. So
Hmm.
does the process look different for each?
100%. There's a lot of directors out there that you know that I work with, and everyone is different. So, some directors you'll have a bunch of pre-production meetings for a music video. Those are
Yeah,
personally my favorite because you get to really know what you're doing before you shoot. As far as
right.
documentaries, it depends on the approach, man. So like when we did Melly, um, a lot of it
Beautiful, by
we
the way. If y'all haven't
uh,
seen it, you guys need to watch that piece.
thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Yeah, that one
Um,
was that one was interesting because me and the director, we had this whole game plan in mind. We prepped for weeks about what we were gonna do, but when we get there, we only have 2 hours a day with him in the middle of nowhere. And it's like things constantly they constantly change, man. Like, like he got ran out the city by, a group of people that weren't messing with him. Cops ran him out the city one day. So it's just like you
that's
never really
crazy.
know what's gonna happen with docs. So that
Right.
that varies. I just shot a film that's actually in the film festival circuit. We won a couple awards already with a good
Yes.
friend of mine named Chase Johnson. The film's called Waters of March. Bro, we must have met at least 2 to 3 weeks every day before we shot,
Dang.
and you can see it, So it's just like it really depends, man, what we're doing. Um, I shot a narrative that I directed last year named it's actually coming out soon called Mama. My boy
Yes.
Andrick shot, and we weren't necessarily able to meet every single day because he was working, I was working on Skirt that's out on Clippy right now. So we kind of just had to prep where we were at, but
Yeah.
end of the day, every process is different for every project. But we always
So
try to
real.
pre-pro as much as we can.
So it sounds like really embodying that Bruce Lee. Why to go
Yeah.
to pot and become pot? Why to go into club and become club? I love that. I love that. I feel
Yeah.
that's so real, and I think that speaks a lot because you haven't always had the opportunity of having a red camera or like great
Mm.
or access to great equipment, right?
No, not at all, man. I
And
mean,
I feel
I
like so
I
many.
was. Mhm. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I feel like so many young filmmakers are like, well, I don't have that, so how, like, I can't do it, I can't do this. But it's like, I think it speaks what you're saying is if you prep, you can do anything with any budget, you know?
100%. I was shooting my 5D up until 2000 and end of 2017. So all I had was a
Yeah.
5D. Everybody was on A7s. Everybody had Reds, and
Mhm.
that's all I had. So, I mean, to this day, I shot some of my favorite music videos ever on a
Yeah,
5D. My friend Sam Zook just colored an amazing music video to this day that was shot on a 5D Mark II, not even a 5D Mark III.
that's
And
amazing.
I just feel like, bro, like it doesn't matter what camera you have, what sounds you have, any of that stuff. It's all about the content and the production, pre-production, like you said.
Mm.
Um,
Say it
yeah,
one more time.
crazy, bro. I was saying it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, um, I think his name is Peter Soderbergh, and quote me if I'm wrong, but he has two films on Netflix right now that were shot on an iPhone 10, not even an 11.
That's crazy.
Um, Tangerine won a bunch of awards, shot on an iPhone 6, I think it was, or 7. It's just
Right.
like, yeah, bro, like, and I mean, you see everybody going back to 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter cross formats now, and I see people shoot Alexa and then they'll rescan it on film to make it look 16 millimeter now. So
That's
everybody is,
crazy.
it really doesn't matter. It's all about, like, what am I shooting and how can I get it done? And
Mm,
I think,
mm.
I think the people that figure that out are the people that are gonna make it next.
It's so real. I feel like especially like I hate to talk about Corona at all, just because it's like I don't know. I'm just tired of talking about it.
Hmm.
But I feel like especially those people will thrive in a period like this right now because
Hmm.
all you have is nothing, you know?
100%, 100%, man.
So it's like,
But
how
I
can you
think,
form to that teapot of coronavirus?
yeah, I think that's true. Like, I mean, me personally, I've been shying away from being in front of camera for like 10 years now.
Now
And
here you are with your old beautiful face.
chill, bro, and a dead tooth. Look at
I'm
it.
dead. I'm dead.
But yeah, it's like I have equipment, but now it's like the fear that comes into doing something new when you're so used to doing
Mm,
it one way. Now I'm used
mm,
to having an AC. I'm used to having all this stuff and people basically like, oh, good job. The frame is beautiful because I have gaffers to help me with
yeah.
lighting. Now it's like, yo, me by myself in front of a camera, can I, do that? And
Mm,
that's like the
mm.
new thing that I'm kind of trying to attack right now in this Rona era that we're in.
Right. That's so real, bro. And I think that's where it comes into the fact of we have to stay inspired. As creatives, we need to stay inspired. We need to continuously feed that creative hunger that we have. And I think that inspiration that we find is what's going to drive us to be able to take those leaps of doing this by ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. How do you stay inspired? Like I'm trying to figure that out still myself every day,
No,
but
for real.
yeah.
I think for me, I had a super like mental breakdown the other week, and I was like, I can't do this quarantine shit. I'm going crazy, having 2 kids, and then on top of work, and then on top of trying to figure out this whole podcast recording setup, which I finally figured out for this podcast. Whew. But it's like in between all of that, I forgot that I need to keep feeding my creativity,
Yeah,
and that's when for me, I started to paint.
word.
Like with acrylic markers. I guess not a paintbrush, but whatever. But
Hmm.
I just started just doing subconscious drawings, and I think that right there was so like relieving for me. And like I've always been afraid to paint because I've
Word.
always been told that I'm not a good drawer.
Salmon.
Yeah, it's your potato. That I'm not a good, hand artist. I'm just a
Hmm.
great photographer and videographer. So I was like, fuck it. I'm gonna draw. And so I stopped caring. And the moment that I stopped caring, it felt so right?
Yeah, I love that,
So I
bro.
guess so I guess all that to say is to stay inspired, I had to stop caring and just do art.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing because like in this social media era, like we get caught up. Well, me personally, I get caught up scrolling, and I don't post
Hmm.
because of the anxiety of are people gonna like it or not. And I haven't been in front of camera because all my life I've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, bro, you're corny. You're not a great
Yeah,
writer. Like, your jokes aren't, And
yeah,
bro, seeing Kenya, like literally, who's not an actor, you know, he's 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 considered a writer, jump in front of camera and make a hit like Black AF, bro. Like, it's like, come on, man, Will, you can do this. And I mean, for me, that's what
so real.
inspired me, cause like, we go through Pinterest, we go through the Vimeo, staff pics
Hmm.
when the little girls are brushing their hair
No,
through the wheatgrass,
right.
all that stuff,
I'm
man.
dead.
And it gets repetitive, bro. But like, there's nothing new under the sun. Like that's like
Mm,
my. It's like, yo, look for inspiration in the little areas. Cause I know I had a meltdown on Monday where it's like, bro, like that article came out about how the Hollywood is gonna like open up really slowly. It's gonna take a while to get back to studios, and for me, that was my next jump was the studio, you know. So
mm,
now it's
mm.
like now I don't have that in sight. How do I stay ready and get myself ready so when it does happen, it's like, bam, I got this, I got this, I got this. Oh yeah,
Right,
and I'm in front of camera too. So it's just kind of
right,
like trying to look for inspiration in the little parts that I think was kind of helping me and taking walks because I live in a studio apartment right now. And bro, like I see everybody in their backyards working out, and I'm like, damn,
right.
I go to the street, it's a bunch of just trash. So,
I'm dead.
so yeah.
No, I think speaking to working out during this period, I think that's super crucial for us as creatives too, you know.
Mhm.
I think creatives don't realize, but a lot of creativity comes from our physical experiences, you know.
Mhm.
And I think even just walking, there's a study where it says like walking stimulates a special like a certain part of your brain as compared to if you're just sitting. Like for example, when I walk and I'm doing a phone conference or I'm just ideating and I pace back and forth,
Mhm.
like I just feel like hyper focus or like just like my brain pumping. And it could is because it's just because it's like blood, you know, it's just blood pumping.
Yeah,
But
bro. That's amazing because that same thing happens to me. Like I'm struggling just to sit down right now. Like real talk. Like, and then
dang,
and then
don't leave, Will.
yeah, bro. And I live in a studio apartment right now too. So with my fiance. So like literally like I can't pace all the time. She'd be like, "Stop pacing." I'm like, "Come on, bro. Like I gotta pace. Leave me alone." But yeah.
That's real.
Uh-huh.
How how's the quarantine going for you two?
It's good, man. I mean, like last night we got a little adventurous in the kitchen. We cooked, I think they're called scallion pancakes. Um,
Ooh.
we cooked dumplings,
Mm.
and teriyaki fried cauliflower, bro, because we're on this vegan thing now. Bro, this vegan thing
What?
got my bro. All right, no, they don't need to know this. We're
I
gonna
don't know.
keep that out.
I have no clue where that was going, but I
Yeah,
love it.
okay. Just know, vegan and bathroom, they mix very well.
Word.
But
Got you. Got you.
yeah, so so yeah, we've been kind of getting more adventurous with like recipes and stuff like that, which has been cool. Um,
Do
and
you
yeah,
do you
she's
feel
actually.
do
Oh,
you
go
feel
ahead.
me? No, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say, she's
Okay.
actually helping me write too, which is really cool. So
That's tight. So you got your own writing circle already.
yeah, bro, like my
Right.
whole life I've looked
Writer's
for a
room
writing. Yeah, my whole life I look for a writing partner. People fall off. People be like, "Yeah, I'm down," and they fall off, or they
every
want to write
time.
their own stuff. But like, bro, like having her like as my writing partner is like literally like changed everything. So
Oh, shout
it,
out, wifey.
she tells me when and it's crazy because she'll be honest. Like she'll tell me when I'm reaching too far for a joke. Ain't nothing worse than
Mhm.
like trying to make a girl laugh. She just looks at you like this, like
Bro,
really? Yeah. So
bro, that's so. It like
yeah, bro.
it's like tearing your soul out when that
Yeah,
happens.
it hurts, bro. It's like, yo, I feel like I used to make you laugh all the time. Like in the beginning, like I used to be like, boo, and it's you're so
I'm
funny.
dead. I'm not boo.
That ain't happening no more, bro. She'll let you know if you're not being funny. So
I love
it's
it. I
it's
love it.
good that I have that accountability when I'm writing. So yeah.
That's crucial.
hmm
What advice do you have for future creatives, for future filmmakers out there?
Future filmmakers. I mean, that's like a loaded question because it depends on, what you want. I would say first off, figure out what you want to do, whether
Mm,
it's writing, acting, cinematography, directing, producing. I'd say try it all and see where it fits because I think where a lot of young filmmakers go wrong now is, they're a one man band, which is great, but like you can't really elevate working by yourself.
mm,
You'll get so far, but if you want to get into like television and movies, you got to be able to collaborate and work with people. So I think,
mm.
if you are a one man band now, figure out where your strengths are and kind of like, run with it and
That's
create your own
real.
work, right? And create your own work constantly. But yeah, I think that would be my best advice because I feel like there's two lanes now. There's like the videography circuit, where you can do cool travel videos, weddings, and
Right.
like music videos and
Yeah.
you know content like that. And then there's like the
The
television.
the tour recaps and shit, right?
Yeah, and I think those are dope, but it really depends on where you want to go with it. Like, do you want to do that, or do you want to do like TV shows and movies and that
Mm,
kind of stuff? So yeah.
that's real.
Mm.
What's like one thing you wish you had known when you got into this that you found
Right.
out later and you're like, dang, like
Well,
if
the
only
crazy
I would have
thing is,
known.
yeah, I did know. Like the people before me and my mentors are always like, "Yo, you need to be a writer. You need to be a writer." Maybe it's like, no, I'm just gonna be with the camera, making things look good. And yeah, that's brought me a long way. But end of the day, for the track that I want to go, I should
Yeah.
have been writing years ago, like I am now. So I
Dang.
say that's like the thing that really I wish that I would have started when they told me that.
So is it what stopped you from diving into writing? People's opinions?
That and it's hard, bro. Like,
Mm,
there's nothing to me more intimidating than you sitting by yourself first. By yourself, no phone, no distractions. Step one, that's hard nowadays. Step two, putting a white piece of paper in front of you.
mm,
It's like when you're drawing, right? It's like you have
yeah,
to create the world with just your hand and your eyes and the color that you have on the paintbrush or the pen.
yeah.
That's scary. Just putting it down and drawing a line, that's scary. You know what I mean?
That's real. That's real.
So so now writing a line, interior, my office, day. Okay, I got that. Now what's
Mm,
happening in this world that's in my head? Now I have to be able to hear my thoughts and describe what's gonna happen in this story. And bro,
dang.
like in the beginning that's not fun. But once like
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure when you were drawing at first and you saw an outline, you're like, okay, this is cool.
Mhm.
And then you start adding the color, now it's getting fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just like it's the same thing with writing, bro.
That's crazy. That's like
Yeah.
I've never heard it explained like that before. That's dope.
hmm So I think that was the hardest. That's the biggest thing is just sitting with yourself, bro, by
Uh,
yourself.
Man, I feel like it requires you to be super vulnerable with yourself too.
100%, bro. People, put it this way, the page knows more about me than anybody else right now.
Mm, I feel that.
So
That's
yeah,
real as fuck.
yeah, it's uncomfortable, but I feel like the best stories come from vulnerability, you know. And
Mhm.
when you're reading something, you know when somebody's being transparent or not. And I think that's what makes your favorite movies great. They come from real places, real people. Like, like
So
Guardians of the
real.
Galaxy, crazy, or Black Panther, this crazy made up world, right? When it
Yep.
comes back to the simple principles of what made that movie so good, it's vulnerability. Ryan
Mm,
Coogler grew up in Oakland, based around, he based around Killmonger around that character of like, yo, like this is what's going on in the hood. We ain't got no resources. We ain't got no nothing. So that
yeah.
anger comes from like, bro, y'all have all this in Africa. And we over here dying and struggling. Y'all ain't gonna help us. Like
Mm,
that's vulnerable. That's what he felt. It's when it comes down to the simplicity of the story and the character, it's like
mm.
it's vulnerability. So
That's real, bro. I think that's where I have a I would love to write, but I feel like I have that fear of being vulnerable and
Mhm.
and and coming across as corny. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. I mean, we all do, but I think you exercise it well on Instagram.
Yeah,
You show your family. You show
yeah.
your you show yourself dancing and acting crazy.
But
Um,
but but I use humor as like a way to cover my
right.
true feelings. You know?
But why can't you do that in your writing? It's the
I
same
don't,
thing.
I don't know. I don't know.
You can,
That's
but no,
real.
you can. Is what I'm saying. Like you can. Like so. What I've learned is, writing comedy is, and I'm not the master at all. This is just where I'm at right now as a
Hmm.
comedic writer. You write your story, and it's all about the situations that make it funny, and then you can punch
Yeah.
up your jokes later. But like, I'm not about to like if I write a story about something like crazy that happened to me, like for example, trying to think, and I hope you don't mind me. You told me a story about the time that you got pulled over by the cops, right? The
Oh,
other day.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, you can write that two ways. You can write it in the way of the sad, traumatic thoughts that you had as you got pulled over, or you could
Mm.
write it in a satirical way where it's like, if your wife wasn't there, if you were mad, oh, my phone fell and my dog ran. If you were, if you were like upset, angry, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And things that you wish you would have done in that situation are
Mm.
funny. The funny is in the dark
Mm.
moments and the dark thoughts. You know what I
I
mean?
feel
Where it's
that.
like, all of a sudden, your wife, who's Caucasian, happens to pop off like some hood chick from Inglewood. Ah, you know what I mean? Like it's in the dark.
Okay.
It's in the dark thoughts. That's where the humor is.
So
So
basically, like, just basically being able to laugh at your pain is a
yeah,
that
hundred
that's
percent,
basically what I'm doing.
100%, bro. Because end of the day,
Mm.
when you're able to like laugh at it and embrace it,
Yeah,
I mean, to me, like when you go to a comedy club, those are the most hurt people sometimes, but they
that's real.
figure out a way to make you laugh and get through it. So,
It's almost like a sense of therapy in a way. Free
hundred,
therapy for yourself.
100%, bro. That's exactly what a lot of people use it for. For me personally, when I've tried stand up,
Mm.
I'm never vulnerable and I always
Yeah.
flop. So it's kind of like the people that are great at stand up are the ones that are confident in themselves,
Mm.
that feel their pain and embrace it, and they're able to turn it into something. So
No, I feel
I'm
that.
I'm in the phase right now where it's like I accept my pain, I feel it, but now it's the confidence to make that funny, you know?
No, it's crazy how many steps there are for this, you know?
Yeah, and they're different for everybody.
Right.
'Cause, like me
That's
personally, I need for some reason 200 steps. I don't know. It's the way I work. Baby step. Like yesterday, setting up the camera on a tripod, that was so hard to film myself. Was so hard for me
mm,
to do. I didn't even turn it on yet. Just to set it up and point it towards me, bro. That's a big
yeah,
step. You know. So.
yeah,
Hmm.
that's real. For people listening right now,
Hmm.
what advice do you have for if they're struggling to start to start writing on that blank piece of paper?
Ooh, uh,
Like
nobody's gonna
like
make you do
what
it.
helps you?
Yeah. What helped me is, I mean, just the pressure of life. Honestly, like I'll be 30 next year, and I've had this pilot for 5 years. This pilot idea for
Mm,
5 years, and I've had two feature ideas for 5 years. I just don't want to be that guy that was like, oh, he had potential.
mm, mm,
As people are dying around us with this virus and natural causes. I lost my father-in-law a couple weeks ago. It's just
sorry.
like, thank you, bro. Yeah, it's just like I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh yeah, he was dope, but I don't know what happened. Like
Mm,
that scares me, and that's kind of what makes me write now. And the more that I'm writing now because of that, the more I'm falling in love with the process, the more I'm enjoying it, just sitting with myself. But
Mm,
For me, it took fear. I just hope it doesn't take fear for everybody else to get there. Because
mm,
it's more enjoyable when you just, hey, let me try this rather than, oh, I'm about to be 30. Let me finally
right.
get something out.
Right.
You know?
Dang, bro. That's real as fuck.
hmm
What's something that has you curious right now? Like, I don't know
Um,
how to phrase that question exactly, but it's just like, what's
yeah,
inspiring you right now?
inspiring me, bro. I'd say just to be honest, like I'm probably gonna sound like a jerk saying this, but like all the fluff on Instagram is kind of inspiring me.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
I'm just tired of the shallowness of what we see on a daily basis, the quick laughs that
Right.
allow us to escape but don't really make us think.
Mm,
The memes are great, the little content's great, but it's not really it's really like not allowing us to think on our own. So I'm really trying to figure out a way to create things that entertain people at a high level but really make them think at the same time.
yes.
And for me that's what keeps me going just because I know like especially as like living in the black community, like we argue about sports all the time. Like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
like we're over here talking about, Tom Brady, you about to go to the Patriots and this and that. And there's a global pandemic going on where nobody's working and people aren't eating and people are
Right.
starving and our economy's crashing and
Yeah.
you know, but we over here arguing about sports still and that's great. Like it's entertainment, it's what we do at the core of our culture. But it's
Yeah.
like yo, let's talk about real estate. Let's talk about stocks. Let's talk about investment, taxes, all that kind of stuff. But
Mm,
let's
mm.
let's figure out how to tell those stories that talk about that, but in a creative way as well. So, I mean, for me, that's like what's keeping me curious is like, how do I educate people and entertain them at the same time? How
Dang.
do I keep people vulnerable but educate them at the same time? And something I haven't figured out yet, but it's like I'm working on it.
Yeah, 'cause there's like that fine line of like I feel all the fluff that we see every day. I think
hmm
it's people's desperation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They're
100%. I
like
mean,
like what
mhm,
I can't do anything else. So here's a 5-second video of me being dumb, you know?
yeah. I just feel like people don't have anything. Well, everybody has something to say, but they're so focused on getting content out, they're not thinking about what they want to say. They're just kind of like
Bro,
boom,
it's
boom, boom.
so
They're just
real.
moving, and it's like
So
it's great
real.
because it's like when you drink wine, right? You drink
Hmm.
wine, it relaxes you. You smoke, it relaxes you. Laughter does the same thing. So it's like
Yeah.
when you're on Instagram, you're scrolling and you're laughing constantly. You're forgetting things like you feel good,
Mm,
but you're not thinking for yourself.
real.
And that's like to me, that's the detriment in all this quick content
It's
and
kind of
like
being brain
making
dead.
people, yeah, 100%.
Mm.
So we can figure out that, bro. Winning recipe all day.
Dang. Wait, so like, okay, let's talk about Quibi, for example.
hmm
Uh, that looks dope, by the way.
Oh, thank
Will,
you, bro.
Will, what's the show called? Skirt
It's
with
called
Migos?
skirt. You got to skirt.
Skirt, skirt,
Yeah.
skirt, skirt.
Hope that gets me
Uh,
credit with those guys.
I'm dead. But like that show looks awesome, and I feel like
Thank you, man.
that's almost a step forward from the monotonous content on Instagram. And
hmm
and, and, and I feel like that's just the start of what you're going to be doing.
I appreciate
If
it, bro.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I think it's those sort of platforms that's going
hmm
to help pull us out of this Instagram, brain dead world we live in. And like
Yeah.
I fall victim to it every fucking day. I'm like,
Bro, right
just
before this, I was scrolling, laughing my butt off at some videos. Like,
bro,
didn't read
you
my Bible,
know,
didn't read nothing, just started scrolling, laughing this morning. So
right.
I'm used to it as well. I'm addicted to it too, but just trying to get off of that track.
I feel that, and I feel social media could also be super detrimental for creatives. Like
Hmm.
I know for you know I've gone through so many Instagram accounts
This is positive poppy version 32.
for real, you know, and it's like
Yeah,
I finally have reached this point with my Instagram addiction where I'm like I'm okay if nobody likes my shit because I'm not here for them. I'm here to make people laugh and be happy and share positivity. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And if I can make one person positive throughout the day through creating content that's worthwhile, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Then I did my job as a creative for that platform.
Yeah,
But
bro.
what I'm stoked about, bro, is seeing that. So like that's where I'm at, you know what I'm saying? But like I love where you're at because you're on a whole nother like level where you are developing these narratives, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
I
like I
appreciate it.
and like I'm excited to get to that point with you one day because I think that's where the true value is within filmmaking is telling
Yeah,
these true stories that's going to inspire people on a more larger scale. You know what I'm saying?
100%, bro. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily another level or another skill that I'm working on. I
Mm,
think the same thing can be done on Instagram, you know? Um,
interesting.
I've always wanted to play with the idea of creating a narrative page on Instagram where one post leads to another in a story, you know? Um,
That's cool. Almost like a like build your own story type thing.
yeah, and when you really think about it, Instagram is probably the largest scale that we have.
Yeah,
Um, like more people are on Instagram than have cable. I'm sure of it. It's probably
that's for
I
sure
don't,
real.
I don't know the facts of the numbers. I could be wrong,
Right,
but
right.
based off of logical thinking, I think more people have Instagram than cable or subscriptions to certain services. So, um, I think that you can easily create those narratives on Instagram, and I can't wait for the day we work together on one and potentially a
Right.
narrative for television as well. But I think that you're doing it right, 100%. So
Thanks, man.
yeah, it's just all about consistency and improving at it, and getting better.
Right.
So yeah,
It's so real. It's just fucking doing it, you know? Just gotta fucking
exactly.
do it.
Gotta do
That's
it, bro.
real.
And like, like I'm you know, a faith-based person. I know you are too, so I'm just gonna add this to it as well.
Mm,
Like God is like giving us the authority to be as free and creative as we want. You know, we just put the
mm.
limitations on ourselves. So
That's real, bro. Wow. That's for sure a
you know,
beautiful ass quote.
God
Wow.
could be like, yo, like film this for 3 months, and I'm gonna give you something. I'm not saying He
Mm.
works like that, but I'm just saying
Right,
like.
right.
And then be like, oh, okay, and then like we'll do it for a week, and then we'll see results and be like, well, it's not working, so move on to something else.
Mm.
We got to be careful with that. So,
That's so real. How
yeah.
how do you fight creative blocks? Do you get those at all?
Bro, every day. I'm in one right now. I haven't written on this script in 4 days. As a writer, you go through real things. You go, in this phase I'm in, I'm fighting depression, fighting a bunch of
Mm,
other things. But I think like writer's block is a real thing. But if you don't attack it every day, you're gonna make an excuse not to do it.
mm-hmm.
Like
That's
I've sat
real.
in front of the page and pretended, and then I'll grab my phone and look for the laughter. That's not working on it, and all of a sudden now
Right,
you're out of it. So,
right.
we all go through creative blocks, but sometimes we're not, God doesn't want us to create, and we have to listen to that as well. But I think
Mm,
the best way to work on that is by working on yourself, being completely
mm,
vulnerable and transparent with yourself.
mm-hmm.
That's how you
Amen to
figure out
that.
how to work on that.
Dang.
So when you're comfortable and you're in your spirit, you'll never know what could come to you. But when you're blocked and clogged and your frequency is low because you either
Mm,
doing something to escape, doing something to get away from the awkwardness of being by yourself. You're never gonna
Right.
hear it. So yeah.
Dang, bro, that's so crazy.
Hmm.
Like, what, what has that journey looked like for you with becoming vulnerable to yourself?
Bro, I'm still on that. Like, I'm
Mm.
still like step 5 of 200 to be honest.
I feel
I have a
that.
lot of anxiety that I deal with,
Yeah.
and OCD, and I
Hmm.
think some form of ADD as well. So
Yeah.
if I'm not the center of attention in some way, I kind of get anxious. But when you really think about
Mm.
it, like when you're by yourself, you're giving yourself the most attention.
The whole
So
stage is you.
yeah, the whole stage is you. So uh, I would say like the process for me is like I'm starting to wake up every morning and not scroll, but trying to read my Bible first thing, trying to
Mm.
stretch and meditate, and it's helping me understand myself more. But brother, I
Mm.
have such a long way to go to really understanding my voice and who I am as a person. But
Yeah.
the process is that's pretty much what I'm doing on a daily basis to try to get there. And once I
Mm.
find that voice, bro, whoo, look out world.
It's
I'm
a
telling
Riz app.
you, look out world. So yeah.
That's real.
Hmm.
I think that's the beauty about creativity in general, is that everybody has their own journey, you know?
Hmm.
And I think it's about those that want it bad, and that put their that listen to God's plan. You know what I'm saying?
Why? As soon as you said that, bro, Drake just hit my ears. That's playing.
God's plan. Yes, bro. But no, it's real. You know, it's just like you have to have that faith, because sometimes, bro, it's hard to have faith in humanity for real.
Yeah, bro,
It's
100%.
like, even with all this corona stuff going on, it's like it's depressing as fuck, you know?
Yeah,
And it's like you can't trust anybody. Like our president saying one thing one day and then changing it up the next day. It's like that's the one person that you're supposed to feel like you can trust, you know?
yeah. China has 1 billion cases and America has two. We're doing
Bro,
an amazing job.
I'm dead, you know? But I'm mad. I'm picturing how you looked when you were doing that, because I
Oh,
can't see you.
the lips was flying in the camera, bro.
I love
I
it.
got
I love it.
that
Yes.
macro
Yeah.
shot.
Macro lip shot. But yeah, you know, like dealing with like every single thing I see is about Corona, you know, and it's like I feel like that's what was hard for me, was I was hella depressed at the beginning of all the Corona stuff,
Yeah.
and hella fearful. But I think putting my faith in God and just kind of accepting where we're at, that's
Hmm.
one thing that's helped me with my creative blocks. Because in the beginning of this shit, bro, I was more blocked up than fucking Tetris, you know?
Facts,
Like,
bro. Yeah.
but I think one thing that helped me was just accepting what's going on,
Yeah.
you know?
I don't think I've still done that, bro. Like for some
Yeah.
reason, like the delusion that I have makes me think, oh yeah, next week I'm about to be back on set,
Mm.
rocking and rolling. But every week that passes by, it seems to get drastically worse. So
Right.
I
That's
think what you
real.
said by accepting it is actually great. And I
Yeah.
think that goes for everything is even when talking about like, posting things and all that stuff is accepting where you're at and accepting what you have and being okay with that. You
Yeah.
know, that's something
No,
that I
it's
struggle with, bro. Like, being
right.
a visionary, I don't know if you struggle with this too, but like, or not being a visionary, I ain't done. Having some type of vision
You're a
in your life,
visionary, bro. You're a visionary.
but we'll see. We'll see one day. We'll see if I get this script done.
When
but
this film's done.
or but just like you see your life one way, but when it doesn't play out that way,
Mm.
you know, that's where depression and anxiety kind of hit for me personally because with everything, even before I talk, sometimes like I see the whole conversation before I say it.
Mm,
So it's
right,
kind of like even with this pandemic, it's like, oh yo, I see it ending this time by the summertime. Boom, 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 boom. I'm moving, and when it doesn't happen like that, bro, that's when like
right.
reality sets in, and you're not ready for it because you haven't been processing being present. And I
Mm,
think what you said is great. By accepting things, you're able to be more present. You know,
that's so real. They say if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan.
bro, that's great. He probably thinks I'm hilarious.
I'm dead, bro. I'm dead with you.
Yeah, he probably thinks this dude Will, my son Will, man, he got jokes, bro. Cause that is not
Straight
what I
co
have planned
straight
for him.
comedian.
Hilarious. Talk about the Dave Chappelle of believers. Whew.
I'm done with you, bro. So we're gonna wrap up with a quick round of speed questions.
Yeah, minute.
Where
Let's do it.
all right, you ready? You basically have 5 seconds to answer each.
All right, word.
All right, and here we go. What's your favorite part of the day?
Morning.
Who is one person you would have dinner with, dead or alive?
J. Cole.
What's been your favorite project to shoot?
Next question. You don't have to
How do
answer
you
that
relax?
without past 5 seconds. I'll answer it, but I know it didn't take 5 seconds.
You
Just come
don't
back.
have
Ask
to.
me that at the end. Ask me that at the
All
end
right,
again.
all right. How do you relax after a long day at work?
Political answer or non-political answer? Nah,
Non-political.
I eat and relax and watch TV.
There are two types of people in this world. What are those two types?
Real and fake.
Ooh, main pet peeve.
Talkers. Or
Comedy or
laziness.
drama?
Comedy.
Ooh, what's your dream car?
No, Lamborghini truck.
Where would you rather be from, LA or New York?
New York.
What TV show or movie do you refuse to watch?
The Notebook.
Really? Interesting.
Oh my God,
What?
talk about our fake stuff. I'm just gonna kiss you in the rain all the time. Oh, kiss
You're
you in the rain. I'm gonna
terrible.
run in the rain. My
That's a
hair,
great movie.
bro.
What
Okay, never mind. I don't want people to be mad at me. Never mind. Go ahead.
what job do you think you'd be really good at?
Architecture,
Music or photography?
music,
Weed or alcohol?
neither weed.
What's been your favorite project to shoot?
Mama,
Papi and Friends podcast or Papi and Friends podcast?
the Spanish version.
Pop, Papi y amigos.
Papi, amigos y podcast. That's
Yo,
terrible.
my guy, thank you so much for hopping on this with me today.
Thanks for having
You
me,
are
bro.
you are a legend, bro, and I'm
You're a legend,
excited.
man.
Um, bro, we're just two legendary ass dudes, you know.
Yeah,
I think
bro. I
down the road
appreciate you, bro.
this podcast will be played. You know, and people are gonna
Man,
be like,
that
"Wow, did you guys hear that podcast with Will and Poppy from
yeah.
circa from the coronavirus period?"
Bro, what does circa mean? I see it all the time.
Circa's like I don't circa's like like circa like
I,
throwback. Basically, I don't really fucking know, but I think it's like
yeah,
it's
bro.
like a fancy way of saying Throwback Thursday, essentially.
Gotcha. I'm thinking about the skate brand because I used to skateboard. So I'm like, circa, like,
Dang,
are they
sir, I
coming back?
forgot about that.
What? Yeah,
I'm done with.
but
Oh, exactly. Coming back.
bro,
Circa.
that's what I'm saying, bro. Oh, bars. But nah,
Oof.
bro, on some real stuff, man. Like, I admire you. I love how consistent you've been with this thing, and every week that you have a new, person on it. Like, I think you elevate, and they help us too. So, thank
Mm,
you, bro. And
man, thank you.
you're great, man. Go be great, and thank you for holding me accountable. And I love you, man. So
That's
for
what
sure,
friends are
we gonna
for,
have to
brother.
cut
That's what
that out.
friends are
Yeah,
for.
for sure, my guy.
All right,
All right,
bro.
man.
Love you, dog. Stay Gucci, man.
You too, bro. All right, peace.
Peace.